let's shift gears and maybe just do a quick little predictions for the WWE Fastlane that's coming up on Sunday. I know we talked about this on the radio show this week, but let's try and put up some more prediction videos on our YouTube page and get into these, YouTube algorithms and all the other wrestling pages are doing, right? That's what they do. We got to play along.
Click like and subscribe.
Please, come
Press
on.
the bell.
We want to
Press the bell.
Yes, we want to be just like all the other wrestling shows on here. Come on, everybody. Join the show. All
We
right.
want viewers like the other wrestling shows have. That's the other.
Hey, it's a shot. I'm enjoying these smaller videos. Hopefully other people
yeah.
are too. It's nice to kind of produce different content for people. And
They seem to be working better.
Yeah, producing something different. But anyways, let's jump into Fastlane. There are 5 announced matches, potentially 6. We could maybe talk about that at the end. But regardless, let's maybe get your thoughts and predictions on these matchups, Chris, and mine as well. All right. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler will be defending their women's tag team titles against Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair.
I think Nia and Shayna retain, and we end up with more of a schmozzle between the other two girls that builds up their hatred for each other, build to WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think it should certainly be the final sort of thing that separates these two. There's no longer any trying to get along. One of them should certainly define themselves as the, not liking the other, and we can move forward to their WrestleMania matchup. And in a feud I was anticipating being more excited for than I have been. And I just need them to get the ball rolling.
I think you're probably, especially now that we've both predicted that the girls will retain the belts, your other suggestion that they'll actually let Sasha and Bianca win the belts so that they can be the tag champs with friction going into Mania instead. That's not out of the realm of possibility.
It isn't too, and just in the sense that, like, again, we did get the Oscar return last week on Raw. There is still questions as to what her playability at Mania with the concussion and stuff like that. She was able to do a match, though, so I would imagine that they're going to get that title picture moving again. But, again, they still have 2 nights to fill on Mania. If they had to have Sasha and Bianca defend these tag titles on the first night to then fight each other the second night, totally something that I could see WWE doing. Not something I want to see, though. So I would rather it stay on Nia and Shayna. There are plenty other women's tag teams they're building up right now to kind of be.
No, there's a few other women.
Well, there's a few. There's enough that aren't the world champion. They're just. I would rather the women that you either have 2 paths. You are going for these titles,
you're
or you're going
single
for
or
the
you're
world
a tag
title.
team. Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying. They were trying to establish some women as a pairing.
Yes.
I'll give them that.
Yes.
So moving on. Though,
plenty might be a stretch, but there are some.
There are, yes, plenty was definitely a stretch. There's a handful. I'll give them that.
That's perfect.
Yeah, enough for like a fatal 4-way. So, in singles competition, Big E Langston defending, not Langston anymore, but just Big E defending his Intercontinental title against Apollo Crews.
Could be the sleeper match of the night.
I think it could be too. They put on some bangers on SmackDown. The story has, really hit a peak here with Apollo's new gimmick and getting a real passionate side out of Big E as well. So
yeah, and to the degree that I don't know what's going to happen here.
Yeah,
the head says both, and heart saying Big E, but head saying it could go either way. I'm really not sure.
Yeah.
So it's all the elements of a match I'm interested in then.
Yeah, I have a feeling Apollo gets so close to winning, but ends up costing
just
himself
not close enough
in that sense too, and it's his own sort of undoing as to rather, and then Big E capitalizing on that maybe. But I think I'm going with a Big E retention.
I think I'm gonna have to agree, because I think if Apollo wins, this isn't to set Big E back a step and to continue feuding for the Intercontinental title. Big E's going to drop this belt eventually to move up to the main event scene.
Yeah.
So it's not quite time for that yet. He doesn't have a spot in the next level up. So keep this belt and let's prolong this a bit more.
If Apollo gets enough over in the match that seems like he was going to win, and then if it's his crew or it's his sort of overconfidence that he does something too bad to Big E that he gets disqualified or whichever, if it furthers the story to Mania, or if they eventually want to incorporate some other SmackDown guys, I could certainly see it being a multi-man match as well. But moving over to the Raw side, Alexa Bliss will be taking on Randy Orton, apparently, in a intergender match. When was the last time they had an intergender match in WWE?
China versus Chris Jericho or Jeff Jarrett, I think.
It actually was probably more recent, because it was like when Nia Jax fought Reginald, or someone fought Reginald on SmackDown
that's
a couple weeks
right.
ago.
Yeah.
So I think it just clicked in my head.
I thought
So
you
they
were gonna say
have done
Nia
it more recently. It was
Nia
Sasha
got in
Banks.
the
She
Rumble.
beat Reginald up, before the Rumble. So they have been doing it a little bit more recently, which kind of brings a thought into my eye that they might actually wrestle, but I don't think they will. I feel that this is cinematic, I think, is where I'm going with this. if I have to pick a winner, I don't know.
I think Alexa's got to win in a cinematic thing, but it would be more the Fiend that's winning than Alexa.
Yeah, that's helping her win in a
or
sense.
He gets so much black tar puked all over himself that the tar pins Randy.
Yes,
and the tar
Randy
wins.
beats himself. Let's go with that.
I don't want to see Randy beating himself.
Well, that's a whole different story. We'll save that for Mania when Randy takes on Randy. The best legend to kill is himself, and that's what the match will get. It's just him fighting a shadow version of himself. Regardless, let's move on to Drew McIntyre taking on Sheamus, and what was originally an anticipated matchup has lost quite a bit of steam, especially since it doesn't seem like this match really matters.
Yeah, when this felt like it was going to be the number one contender spot for Mania on the line.
Yeah.
There were stakes involved. It was a good build between the two former friends, come rivals over the title belt, going to now stay rivals for the number one spot. And then it was announced on Monday that no, Drew's just going to Mania.
Yeah.
And so this is just a warm-up match kind of at Fastlane. So I'm fairly convinced now that Sheamus wins this match. So that makes him the relevant challenger for Drew coming out of Mania when Drew has recaptured his belt. Because that's how they work. They let the champ, a guy loses to a guy, he then wins a belt. Well, now remember me, I beat you before. I'm a contender now. We've seen this so many times out of them. I don't see them ever, having an original plot in mind.
Yeah, I don't know where you go with this. If Sheamus wins, unless you're incorporating him into the matchup, I don't think it makes a ton of sense. I think you just need to establish
you're right. It makes
Drew.
No sense.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I think if I had to try and make this make sense, I think Drew coming off the beating, losing the belt, all that other kind of stuff. He's had Raw stuff, but pay-per-view wise, this is your next sort of appearance from Drew. I think if he's going to Mania to take on Bobby Lashley, he needs to win this match. But
all logic says he should win, so I got Sheamus.
Fair enough. I will hopefully pick logic, and let's hope that clearer heads prevail and Drew McIntyre does walk away with the win.
I hope so. Yeah. I really do hope so.
Or of any of the matches to have another kind of schmoz type thing, I could see this one too, maybe. But again, that's if they were going to incorporate Sheamus into that match, and I don't think they are. I think they're going marquee.
Oh, Drew versus Lashley, yeah.
I'm going to say, here's another huge swerve they throw at you too. Say this match again doesn't have a winner, and then you still have this Sheamus and Drew feud with no winner that is going on to Mania, and then that teased match for Mania doesn't actually happen, and you get Bobby and Brock or Bobby and Goldberg, which
I suppose could happen. You've got a scant amount of time remaining left to set that up.
Yes,
you could almost have someone, a Brock or a Goldberg, if you're going to do that, have the run in on this Sunday and interfere in this match and kind of interject. You basically, for all the different reasons, for all the different reasons that I can't pick an ending to the Big E and Apollo match, but for why they're good reasons.
Yes,
these are bad reasons that I can't figure out what the hell they're doing with this one.
Fair enough. Totally understandable. All right, well, let's wrap things up with the main event. Roman Reigns defending his Universal title against Daniel Bryan with the special guest enforcer. We're recording this on Thursday, so we are unaware as to who that will be, Edge or Jey Uso. As I had mentioned on the radio show, too, I think this just depends where they want to go angle-wise for that match. I think it makes a lot of sense to have Edge be in there so you're not sure where he kind of is lying, where he wants to go opponent-wise maybe, or if he is going to play that much of an influence or just wants to keep things neutral. Could also see if they want to get the comeuppance on Edge with a loss on SmackDown, which is not that big of a deal, to have Jey get something to help Roman in this match. That could easily be a story moving forward too.
Yeah.
Another one where I'm curious to see where they go. The triple threat seems to be a lot talked about now about Daniel, Edge, and Roman. I'm okay with that. I'm also okay. I'm okay with a lot of things if they're willing to go the direction. I'm also it's all about commitment and whether they're willing to take these steps. I think we've got enough of a taste of the head of the table stuff from Roman right now that I'm okay if it had to cool a little bit. Like if they wanted to go full on Daniel Bryan and Edge right now for Mania, they could do that if they wanted to have Jey finally turn on Roman, and then he has to take on Jey and Jimmy at Mania. And that's a total different story, but something that's at least still been building for Roman, still feels marquee, still feels big. But I don't see why you don't have him in the main event. But then again, you could put the belt back on him later to then do the Rock match next year. I don't know. I feel that there are some variables at play, but I feel like the simplest answer is just, Edge helps Roman retain, Daniel gets mad, and it leads to a triple threat. But I don't know.
Yeah. I either of those are plausible. Like, I could see them doing them. I tend to agree that on Occam's razor style, the simplest thing is probably where they'll go.
Yeah.
I think Edge wins the Friday night match so that he is inserted in this Fastlane thing as the enforcer.
Yeah.
And I think Roman wins it and retains the belt at the very least. Whether or not we end up with still just straight Edge versus Roman in the Mania, or if Daniel Bryan gets thrown in now, I think that's very much up in the air. I'm looking forward to see what they do with that.
Yeah.
Because I think they could go either way and have a great main event at Mania. I think you could go either way with keeping it just Roman and Edge even, and then having Daniel Bryan waiting in the wings for the future SmackDowns Friday after Friday, the next pay-per-view.
Yeah,
whoever comes away with the belt.
That could work too. I'm for that too. But yeah, I think we're both going with Roman Reigns retention here. And that about wraps up the Fastlane predictions for our YouTube video here, everybody. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back with more fun videos and stuff here on Low Blow Radio.
Adios, amigos.